This video is sponsored by Photographers Edit, the best place that I have found to outsource your wedding post-production. Good morning and welcome to the wedding day. Weather today, I'm a little bit nervous. Wedding photography on its own is already kind of hard enough, and then add potential thunderstorms and being forced to be inside a lot more makes things even more difficult. It is important for us as wedding photographers to deliver the highest caliber work that we possibly can in any situation, which means that you still have to be able to photograph an incredible wedding day, even if you're not doing it in the surrounding environment that you're used to doing. I'm used to being out with space on a golf course on a 7200 or an 85 prime. Today, I suspect that I'm going to be indoors a lot more, and I'm actually bringing the 28-70 Canon, and it'll be on my Canon R5. It is an incredible lens. It's an f2 lens. The thing weighs 45 pounds, but it is the correct tool for today, and it's going to help me create great images. So let's head to the wedding. One more thing to mention, if you are interested in getting in on the members site, July 31st of this year is the last time you can get in on the year one members rate, which means it comes with everything, all the videos that I've ever really done in wedding photography. So you get access to everything that is on the screen here, which is a lot. At the end of the month, it goes up to $40 per month. So if you want the year one rate, get in on that now. And if you have it for as long as you want. And if you do not get it, it is gone forever, unfortunately. And as always, 100% money back guarantee if you join and it's just not what you were expecting. Send me an email. I am taylor@taylorjacksonphoto.com, and I am happy to send you a refund. Today, two cameras, Canon R5 with the 28-70 f2, which is a lens that is very much, I think, designed for wedding photographers, maybe also portrait shooters and event professionals. And then I also have the Canon 50 on this R6. For flashes, I have actually one in my car, and then I also have this Godox V1, V1C for Canon, and a Peak Design messenger bag. That's everything. Today, we are behind the scenes at a shorter wedding day. 28-70 does not leave my camera, and I don't actually end up using my R6 with the 50 at all during this wedding. The getting ready coverage, because compressed wedding day timeline, isn't nearly as long as it usually is, but we'll give you a sample for kind of how the lens performs in these conditions. Everything that you're seeing actually has my preset on it. I know that might be a bit weird for a lens kind of not really review, but in the field / hands-on, and these are final images for my clients, and they've all been edited by Photographers Edit using my preset. I send them my preset, I tell them how to edit, and this is how the images come back, and I'm super happy with them. The 28-70, I would say overall, is kind of the perfect wedding lens if you don't mind the additional weight. It is a heavy lens, but essentially what it gives you is it gives you that 28 prime, a 35 prime, a 50 prime, and a 70 prime all in one lens. So it really does everything that you could ever want on an entire wedding day just in one single lens, which is kind of amazing. Both sides getting ready, now complete. On my way to the ceremony location now to see Jeff Mack. What's the weather report today here, Jeff?
Ladies and gentlemen, today is windy.
How heavy is it?
Ooh, but she's got some weight to it, eh? Oh dude, like I'm already, basically I'll start my own channel. I'm ready to go here.
That was one.
That did it, eh? You see that shot that I just took? Dude, that thing's gonna be killer.
Thanks, Jeff. Everything you're going to see in this video is shot at f2. You can see my settings on the LCD at the top of the Canon R5. And why I love shooting at f2 is because, one, the feeling, I feel like the characteristics of this lens are really incredible. That image just feels very, very nice. And I also feel like it is very helpful on a wedding day to make backgrounds disappear. For this, doesn't really matter because the background's nice enough, but I do want that focus on the flowers in the front. But if you are in getting ready circumstances and there's just a lot of stuff or a lot of people not wearing clothing that's like maybe somebody's in a bright red shirt, and you can make that disappear into out of focus area and make it feel really nice, all of a sudden you've made your images a lot better by focusing more on your actual subject or more on Jeff Mack here. F2.8 is fine also, that I'm happy to shoot at that. F4 starts to get me into territory where it could never create an image that looks like that unless you're maybe shooting it at, I don't know, 200 millimeters. As you can see, shot at F2, the feeling from this lens is very, very good. I will put it above the 24-70 f2.8 for the RF series, which I also do like. And I would prefer the 2.8 with IS for video simply because the focus breathing of this lens might kind of get in the way. And maybe to talk briefly about that, focus breathing is the only negative that I have found with this lens, maybe other than if you don't want to carry around the weight of it. But yeah, focus breathing definitely present in this lens at all focal lengths when I was testing. The 24-70 f2.8 IS does not suffer from the same. It does a little bit at 24, but by 70, it's kind of all worked out. But this is a lot more noticeable. But again, not a problem if you're doing photography. The general usefulness of this lens far outweighs any negative. I think that you can, in a situation like this, a smaller ceremony, really I couldn't have done this ceremony, I don't think, on a 70-200. The end of the aisle is too close. And I feel like a prime lens, you're not going to get the flexibility that you need, especially if things don't happen as you expect. I would have assumed that the bride with her parents would have come down the aisle, but they came down over here. So it's nice to have a little bit of extra zoom. So you're able to quickly troubleshoot on the day and zoom around elements if you don't want them in the frame. I find that for family formals that it's really helpful as well. We'll show a few family formals in a minute here. The thing that I like to do is basically, rather than just like moving people incrementally and trying to hide background distractions, if you can kind of position yourself in a place and zoom in a little bit, usually you can make those things disappear just through the perspective of what focal length you're shooting at. And I do use that a lot very subconsciously now. If you are a follower of this channel, and I do suggest that you subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. Please hit the like button too. It'll be nice. You'll see that I shoot a lot of weddings with an 85mm prime as my main and only lens sometimes. And while that might seem a little bit risky, I'm very comfortable with that focal length, and I can really make an entire wedding day work just with that single prime. What you gain, or the advantage in the final gallery that you gain, especially if you're a solo shooter by using a lens like this 28-70 f2, is that you can now get a lot more variety from the wedding day. You can also, as I mentioned, zoom around elements, or if the sun was to break through the clouds right now and everybody was squinty, that I could go to a wider shot and make the best possible image within that situation. Whereas with an 85 prime, you're kind of pinned to that 85 prime. So something like this is a lot faster to troubleshoot and a lot faster to make the best image possible in any situation. I will mention here that because of just the size of the lens, the circumference of it, it is a little challenging to zoom in and out, that if you don't have a larger hand, it might actually be a problem. I found that it was a little uncomfortable for me, and I have not had that problem with the lens before. Maybe another small note on that is that the lens is heavy, obviously, but it's also kind of front heavy, so it balances a little bit weird, and it will work different muscles in your arm, and you'll get a bit of a workout the first time you use this lens on a wedding day. To counter that with some positives, the bokeh, the background out of focus area, as you can see, just amazingly creamy and wonderful. And also the way it handles backlight, we didn't really get into it in this wedding day, but it handles backlight really, really well. That said, in high contrast areas, you will see a little bit of fringing. I don't know if you caught it in the image back here. Definitely present, but not really that big of a deal. Another consideration is 28mm wide enough on the wide end? I find for myself, if I'm shooting wide, I want it to look like a wide shot, so I want it to be at 20 or 24, whereas 28 feels a lot more just kind of normal and natural to real life, or even 28 is kind of what your iPhone may or may not millimeter at. But personally, 28 to me doesn't really feel wide enough for when I want that wide shot. So to summarize all of my thoughts here, it very much is a lens that kind of conflicts me, that it is a prime lens. It's so many prime lenses all wrapped into one with beautiful out of focus areas and handling really any situation, and the variety that you can get from it really incredible. But that does come with an incredible weight to it and a circumference that makes it a little bit awkward, and also it being a little bit front heavy just kind of makes the user experience not as much fun on a wedding day. Cost is also a consideration. It's a $3,000 lens. It's quite expensive, but again, it's going to give you amazing results in really any condition. So is this lens for you? You will have to be the one to decide. That is all for today's wedding. This video, sponsored by Photographers Edit. I'll actually walk you through how I'm going to have all of the photos edited from this wedding. I get home, I put everything into Lightroom, I build smart previews, then I go over to Photographers Edit. Since I'm submitting all of my images to be both selected as well as edited, I select this specific drop down here. Then I upload the entire gallery, and within a couple of days, I have all of the edited final images back to me. If you are considering outsourcing, I 100% recommend trying out Photographers Edit, not only because they're a sponsor of this video, but also because they do fantastic work. I have used so many companies in the wedding industry, and I've never been 100% happy with my outsourcing. Photographers Edit, completely different story. Photographers Edit will work with you to get your images exactly how you want them to be, and they're ready to go now. That's all. I got home from the wedding, I had no editing, just export some JPEGs, send a client, and that's the wedding day. So thank you so much for watching. I promise to get a haircut soon. They're not open right now, so I can't go get a haircut. at least for the next couple of weeks here, but soon I will get a haircut, and I hope that you're looking forward to that. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed and made it this far, and also maybe like the video if you like this video. See you again next time.